It's so dark and scary in here. You know, there's sometimes that I feel alone. Like one time, I was really alone one time because, well, I was in the middle of the woods. I was surrounded by raccoons or bears. In my mind, they were. Have you ever been alone somewhere where your mind just wandered off? Maybe it was in the woods or something like that. For me, I've been lonely too. And that's different than being alone because when I graduated from high school, my parents decided to move. And I didn't have my sister or my brother with me. And I moved to a new city, a new state, and had to meet new church friends. And it was scary because I felt hopeless. Like, I'm not going to meet these people. They're not going to like me. And a lot of us get lonely sometimes. See, the disciples were kind of like that too a little bit. When Jesus died, I'm sure they felt really lonely. The guy who they followed for 3 years, their whole life, their jobs, everything, all security is gone now. And imagine their surprise when Easter happened and he rose from the dead, right? And they were excited, relieved that Jesus is back, and now they're back with their master. But then we think, what happens after that? They get lonely again because guess what happens? Jesus leaves again. He goes up to heaven. I'm sure some of them were thinking, oh my goodness, no, God, you can't leave us again. You just left us for a minute, and then now you're going to leave again? It's kind of like the time we're going through right now where we're not sure what to do next. We're not sure what to expect next. Some of you guys aren't sure whether you're graduating this year or not, or if you're going to go to college next year. So you might not even be sure if you're going to the next grade next year, or what's going to exactly happen with that. And I think the disciples were just like that. But before Jesus died on the cross, he said to his disciples, and I don't think they quite understood. In John, it says this. It says that he says, I have to leave because it's the best for you, so that somebody, the advocate, can come later. Now, they didn't quite understand that. And so Jesus reminded them again a second time, right before he left them. Right before he left him, he went up into heaven. And right before he goes up into heaven, he says, I go now, but I will send my Holy Spirit to you so you can preach to all the corners of the world. He says that. And that gives them so much peace. You know why? Because Jesus he did such great ministry, but he couldn't be everywhere. And he knew it would only be the Holy Spirit's power that they could be everywhere. Think about the ministry that happened after Jesus died and after he went up into heaven. The ministry really took place because then we go into the book of Acts and we see how the gospel just spreads everywhere. And then they have Jesus with them. Everybody has the Holy Spirit in them. Everyone who believes, right? And so we see this happening in all of the regions, not just Jerusalem, not just Judea, but Samaria, all the ends of the world, which is amazing. See, when we're lonely and scared, we feel hopeless, and we don't know what we're going to do next. And sometimes we feel like we're alone, we can't turn to anybody. But that's why God sent his Holy Spirit to us, so that we can have power in his Holy Spirit, so that we can actually go to God and relieve our feelings upon him. Say, God, I am so scared. I don't know what to do next. God, I don't know what decision I need to make next. God, I have so much anxiety. Where do I go now? I want you guys to watch this quick clip. It's Brandon from our church here, Brandon Myers. And he talks about a little bit about that and how God has really helped him get through that, and the Holy Spirit working his power through him.
Hi, my name is Brandon, and I want to share my testimony with you. I didn't grow up in a church or really know anything about God before I met Anna. For as far back as I can remember, I struggled with severe, debilitating anxiety issues that led to panic attacks, paranoia, depression, isolation, and some phobias. My mental struggles consumed my entire childhood and teenage years. I never got the chance to live like a normal kid. By the time I was in my 20s, I started to manage it somewhat with medication. I was taking about 3 to 5 pills a day, depending on how severe my anxiety was that day. But it still wasn't enough to stop the occasional severe panic attack. I can still remember these panic attacks like it was yesterday, with the clenching around your throat and the pulsing in your head. You can just feel your heart beating through your entire body. My arms, my fingers, and my legs would start going numb. My stomach would start churning to the point where I felt like I was going to pass out. After I had my second child, I realized I was building my life on a house of cards by relying on this medication just to try to maintain an average day. And that was not okay. So Anna and I picked up a job in the evening to do some cleaning for some extra income. And it was my first day going. I was on the brink of passing out, or feeling like I was passing out from these panic attacks. And I remember looking down the road, because the cleaning job was just about 30 seconds down the road from our church. And I remember looking and I started thinking about church, and I was like, is everything that these people think, is everything that these people believe real? Because up to this point, I believed that there was a higher power. I believed that there was a God, but I didn't understand the living God. I didn't think he was still present in our lives. And for the first time, I surrendered. I put my head down on the steering wheel, and I'm like, God, if you are real, God, if you exist, if you impact people's lives still today, if you're here, just please save me. Please do something. Help me. Give me a sign. Moments later, my body was overwhelmed with a warming sensation that brought me to tears. And I looked up, and the sky just was so beautiful. I seen the rays of sun just breaking through the clouds, and the anxiety just washed away. That moment changed my life forever. I knew I wasn't alone in this anymore. I knew that God was with me. I knew that God was real. When I stepped out of that car to go to that training, I felt like a new man. It was amazing. Several months later, I was off of all of my medication and no longer dealt with any of my mental struggles. I was able to just put everything on God, and it took it away from me. I mean, don't get me wrong, these issues from my past still try to present themselves from time to time, but it's different now. I no longer have to deal with it myself. I'm able to just hand it over. God has brought a peace of mind into my life that I never thought would happen.
So isn't that great how God worked in Brandon's life and the Holy Spirit just worked through his life? Hey, I'm so excited to meet with you guys again tonight. 7:30, get you on Zoom. Hey, if you don't have my Zoom or haven't begun invites, hey, text me. You know my number, text me. Then also tonight we're having a competition, so best costume wins. And guess what you win? A free Grubhub meal, okay guys? So I want to see the best costumes out there. One winner. And you high school students, don't forget, the junior high guys are with us too, and girls, so you better suit up and show me your best. All right, I'll see you guys later tonight. I'm excited to see you later.